Study Arata. If you're the type of person who begins to study and then you quickly get distracted, thinking of something else to do or constantly checking the newsfeed on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat, well, this video is for you because you will learn how to be more disciplined when you're studying using the technique of the time blocks. Begin with baby steps. If you are already following us, well, probably you know that I always recommend that we do baby steps. You should be more modest and humble when you're defining your goals. You can start off with something that is easy and then you think about the long term, always. You don't need to be doing everything perfectly today, not at all. When you establish something that is too difficult, the chances of failing are quite big and so are the chances of losing motivation. That is why you will establish, let's say, only 3 minutes of a goal to be concentrated in one subject at your study time. Come on, 3 minutes. That's very easy, isn't it? You're gonna turn on your phone, open your stopwatch, and then you put 3 minutes. That's the time that you're going to be concentrated and dedicated to be studying that particular subject. And when the phone rings, you will realize that you did something good. You were able to be concentrated for 3 minutes in that particular subject. Congratulate yourself, and now it's time to define a new goal. Well, I guess now you're able to put something a little bit bigger. For example, 5 minutes to study that subject, right? Then you have 5 minutes on your timer, and then you start studying. When the phone starts to ring, you can be thinking about that particular activity and be very honest whether you were truly able to be concentrated 5 minutes or if you were distracted thinking about something else. Don't panic if you failed. It's okay. It's just a moment in which you found an appropriate level of difficulty for you to be studying. So in that case, if you did well in this example, 3 minutes, but you failed 5 minutes, you can find something in between. 4 minutes will be your new goal. And then you repeat this process, always checking if your concentration level is adequate within this time range. And the point is to repeat this experiment with other sizes of blocks and other subjects, because what you will see is that some people will feel quite comfortable studying some subjects that they're very familiar with or topics that they enjoy, and they can do that 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. Other people will have very hard time studying even 5 minutes or 10 minutes of something that is a new type of subject or something that they don't enjoy very much. There will even be some situations in which, depending on the day, you will have more focus or you will have less focus. It depends. Maybe you just had lunch and you're feeling a little bit lazy and sleepy. Or maybe you need a smaller time block, and it's perfectly okay. If you are extremely motivated, if you're focused, if you feel like studying and there is nobody around to be distracting you, it's quite possible that you do more. Maybe you have a 50-minute block of study in one particular subject, and that's going to be really good. Some people will say that this technique has a lot to do with the Pomodoro technique that has already been presented here in this channel. If you haven't seen it yet, you can click on the link here on the screen. There are a few differences between this technique of the time blocks and the official Pomodoro technique. I'd like you to learn how to find what is your ideal time block. Oh, and also you're not supposed to be taking breaks between the different time blocks. With the Pomodoro technique, it's something that you have to do. You finish one successful time block, and then necessarily you're going to have a pause, and then you continue with your next Pomodoro. But here, with the idea of the time blocks, if you finish 3 minutes, you don't really need a break before you increase that next block to see if you can do 5 or something like that. So not always you need a time break between different blocks. Okay, now here's a bonus tip for you. Every time I am studying something, at the end of the day, I like to make a reflection and be thinking about how did it go? And I make that reflection to understand a little bit more about my progress. I want to share this tip with you. You can also do the same thing. You can ask yourself, you can be conscious about how was the quality of your study day. Because you can realize that perhaps you're doing very well on your study, but then somebody arrived and interrupted you. So in this case, that is a major thing that you should be working on, to perhaps change your environment or improve your communication with people around so it doesn't happen again. Maybe it is the fact that the subject was too difficult. And the reason why it was difficult is because you were actually missing some of the previous content. Some of the previous lessons were not so clear to you, and then it suddenly became very complex because you don't have mastery on the basic concepts of that subject. Maybe in that case, it would be interesting for you to step a little bit back and study those previous lessons, right? So my point here is that every time you do this reflection, that you're thinking about how was the quality of your study, you will be able to discover what are the things that can be improved. I talked about this in the first video in our series, Study Arata. You can go to arata.se/study01. Oh, also, I want to warn you a little bit about this tip. Only do this reflection at the end of the day. You don't want to be distracted by this type of questions in the middle of your study day or study time. You can analyze all that happened at the end of the day. That's going to be much better. Then you make sure that you're not wasting your time thinking too much about the quality of your study. That actually helps you to be studying. So this is the philosophy that I teach in our course, How to Learn Faster. See, there are many techniques, many theories, speculations about how we can improve the way we study. And I know that a lot of people start to procrastinate when they are watching one video about how to study, and then they go to another video, how to study, and then they do that over and over, but they actually do not study. I really don't want you to do that, and that's how our course, How to Learn Faster, is extremely practical. You will finish the course in one day, and then immediately you can already start to have the benefits. If you want to see more details, you can go to arata.se/how to learn.